5, 6, 7, 8. Cramps. Nothing left for me to do but cramps. All these bad times and period poops, just cramps. You get me out my hands tonight, baby. Cramps. It may be primal, it may be vital, but it makes you homicidal. It's a vicious cycle.
Hey everybody, welcome to Vicious Cycle, the podcast about periods and the people who get them. I'm your co-host Meg H.
I'm Kate. And I'm Meg T.
And we're so very, very excited to be here with all of you. So we're going to jump right into the research that we have for you all today.
Research sounds so boring.
I know, we need to come up with another word. Bleed search. We're gonna jump right.
We're gonna crack our code very soon.
Jump right into the bleed search that we have here tonight. So Meg T, take it away.
Thanks so much, guys. Well, in our many conversations about periods, we've talked about how awful and heinous and upsetting cramps are. So we thought, why not dig deep into cramps? So I thought I'd open with my personal favorite story about cramps, and how I felt very alone and then realized I was anything but.
Wow, that sounds like a Disney Channel original movie.
I thought... No, so...
We're all in this together.
Cramping up and we bloat and we poop and we're living together.
I think this is a parody of High School Musical. Haven't seen it.
Oh,
Meg!
Sorry.
Wow.
But I love the Efron. Okay, so my cramp story is I was in college and I was a last minute stagehand for a play, and they needed someone to be on stage left. And I also got to have the last line in the play because it's like this never seen character. Anywho, one of the performances, I'm backstage and like the show starts and I realize I'm getting my period because I start to get a cramp, and it comes on hard and fast, and I can't go anywhere because I have to be backstage for all these various cues. So I like look what's around me, and this is our college theater. So one, there's garbage everywhere. And by garbage, I mean like beloved blankets and disgusting couches. And so luckily I have some like couch cushions and a blanket, and I like set myself up so I have this like comfy little space where I can be curled in like a little like fetal position, and like all the actors keep passing through and like patting me on the shoulder and being like, you're doing great.
Did anybody offer you a tamp?
No, well, and the thing is, like, I couldn't go to the bathroom because I was, like,
Shit.
stuck backstage. So I was just nursing my cramps the whole time. And then, like, everyone was acting, so no one could get, like, you know, Tylenol or anything. But just the fact that I could...
were you on the scrumpin' couch?
I mean, I think I might have been on a cushion of the scrumpin' couch. The scrumpin' couch is the one couch in the theater department that everyone has been penetrated on. Except for me.
You were penetrated by a tampon.
And so, but I definitely had a cushion, I had a blanket, and I had a cast. So, like, even the dudes are just like, hey, girl. Like, it was really sweet. And I just remember being like, because when you get cramps, you're just like, so, like, you feel vulnerable.
Incapacitated.
Yeah. And so, but I powered through, and then I feel like I delivered the most powerful last line ever that night. So
Go ahead and deliver it.
It's me, Moira. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Encore.
No, I couldn't possibly. It takes so much out of me.
Especially on cramps.
So, cramps. I feel like you guys probably already sort of understand what they are since we've been
Nope, I don't.
digging deep into them.
No.
Well,
You think wrong.
So, menstrual cramps, also known as dysmenorrhea, which I like to think of a hybrid of dysfunctional menstrual diarrhea. Feels right.
Fair.
Feels right. Is your uterine muscles contracting to expel its lining, and hormone-like substances that are associated with pain are what trigger the contractions.
Got it.
So-
they are like contractions.
Yeah.
Like birth
It's like,
contractions.
it's your uterus trying to shove this like
shit.
no longer good stuff out of you. And that is what causes the cramping in your abdomen.
mini birthing cramps. Like that's kind of
Well,
what it is.
so I have some
oh,
terrifying statistics.
Jesus.
Oh yeah, because I looked up like what are menstrual cramps compared to like labor pain.
Oh God.
And the most common like connection was that they're like intense menstrual cramps with internal twisting. So when you're in labor, it's like you're having the worst menstrual cramps you've ever had, and things in your body are getting twisted. Cool. Very cool.
Vicious, 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 vicious cycle.
So I have some fun facts about cramps. So while a lot of cramps for most women are minor and you can kind of take some pain meds and move on, others can be debilitating, especially if you have these 5 conditions.
Oh boy.
The first of which is endometriosis.
The old endometriosis.
The old endomito. So I only looked up a little bit of each of these syndromes, but each of them disturbed me. Endometriosis is when the endometrial tissue, which I think is part of like the uteral lining, grows outside of your uterus.
Nope.
On the outside.
No, thank you.
And so the reason why your cramps are worse is because that has nowhere to go. It's trapped in your body.
Ouchies.
So that's
so do you get
awful.
buildup? Like
I
how
have
does
no
it even...
idea. I have no idea where it goes.
Holy, this
and
is
I
a
was
great
like,
question for our friend
Someone,
Allison.
someone who has it.
we know some folks. So another reason you might have especially bad cramps is if you have uterine fibroids,
Oh God.
which are non-cancerous size of seedlings to bulky masses of growths in your uterine wall.
Oh.
And many women have fibroids, but they don't have symptoms. And the worst thing that happens is that they can cause heavy periods or especially bad cramps. And sometimes the periods last over a week. So that sucks.
So yeah. So listen for this and see if it sounds like you.
Yeah. Another syndrome that might cause bad cramps is adenomyosis.
Adina, it's Adina Menzel.
Adina Menzel.
It's adeldazine. Is it adeldazine, Meg? Did John Travolta give you these?
So adenomyosis.
I just hear her name now.
Which is when uterine tissue also grows in the walls of the uterus.
Oh.
So that seems painful. There's also pelvic inflammatory disease, or PID, which is an infection usually caused by sexually transmitted bacteria.
You down with PID?
Yeah, you know me.
Get checked out if that's true. If you're
So
done with
these are all
PID.
things that cause really bad cramps.
Really bad cramps.
Okay.
And if you're having like especially bad cramps, you should go to the doctor because it doesn't have to be this way.
And you're probably not having these bad cramps if you're on birth control.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as we learned in the last episode, birth control usually stops people from cramping.
Yeah. Or at least lessens it.
Yeah.
The fifth thing that can cause especially bad cramps is cervical stenosis, where some women's cervical openings are so small that it impedes menstrual flow coming like out, and it causes especially strong pressure in the uterus.
Ouchie wawa.
Like you're just like, I just have this tiny little cervix.
You guys.
a baby cervix.
My cervix is really babyish.
I might have a baby cervix. Not you guys, people, Kate and Meg's eyebrows just raised as if I have like
She has the cervix of a baby.
cervix of a baby. Okay. I have had sex before. I feel like I would maybe know if I had a baby cervix. Maybe I don't know how to have cervix. We could do a whole thing on cervix.
I mean,
what
was
are
it-
cervixes?
What are you trying to say?
Was it the duck lips?
Yes. My gyno. Okay. You guys.
Finish your fucking thought.
I have an inverted pubic bone.
Oh.
Not sure why, but it makes it sometimes painful for me to get checked out because my cervix is like back and to the right.
Owies.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I luckily, because of pain, I've learned to tell any new gynecologist, like, just so you know, it might take a minute for you to find it, and I need to be elevated, and it's somewhere back here. And then it
Crazy.
takes a minute for them to find it.
I mean,
We should interview our gynecologist. Go.
I've had so many different ones I wouldn't remember me.
Yeah, me too.
My vagina is so unremarkable, you guys.
You guys, true story. One time I went to a gynecologist who was examining me, and she said, I need one of those, like, mining hats.
I had a gynecologist once that noticed I had a third nipple and told me about it, and I panicked. And I think I do. It's right under my right boob.
She's lifting her right boob.
You've shown us. We've been to a spa together, Kate.
Yeah. She's showing it to me
Yeah. Yep.
It's not what you think it looks like.
Is it tender to the
It's
touch?
a third nipple. No, I always thought it was a scab. Like, I thought or like a skin tag. And I was like 12 when I first noticed it. But then my gyno, when I was like 16 or 17, was like, oh, it's a third nipple. I was like, lady, all right.
I'm quirky. The last gyno I had, we just talked about jobs while she was penetrating me, so.
So uncomfortable.
Back to cramps. So some fun facts. I found some fun facts about cramps. So some cramps, most cramps I think are found just right in the abdomen, right where your uterus, ovaries, and various things are. But some radiate to the lower back and to thighs. And I was curious because my cramps aren't like that. Have either of you had that?
I've never had terrible cramps. So all this is very fascinating to me. I've had minor pains, but I've never had debilitating cramps.
I've never felt it in my thighs. Maybe in my lower back.
So I feel like I've had righteous cramps before, and
Righteous Cramps is the name of our next band.
our cover band.
Cramps with a K.
And twosies.
But also like, so my cramps typically feel like they're more on my left side, and they found cysts on my like ovary on the left side too. So I sometimes wonder if that's related.
Yeah.
But I didn't find anything about cysts and cramps being worse in my very studious research, reading the Mayo Clinic page on cramps. So I got this little ditty from the Mayo Clinic. Which,
Mayo is in mayonnaise, like Patty
You don't
Mayonnaise
know-
is.
you know about the
clinic?
Mayo
You don't know
Clinic?
about the Mayo
No,
It's like it was the preeminent like hospital for a lot of like research, and it's based in
Whoa.
Minnesota.
Whoa.
Meg, did you really think we were talking about a condiment?
Patty
I
Mayonnaise
thought
Clinic.
Patty Mayonnaise grew up, became a gynecologist, and started her own clinic.
She was really smart, but that is not the case. Unfortunately, the updates on Patty Mayonnaise are quite sad. But here's a little ditty about when things get especially bad in the cramping area. Quote unquote, severe contractions may constrict the blood vessels feeding the uterus. The resulting pain can be compared to the chest pain that occurs when blocked blood vessels starve portions of the heart of food and oxygen. So
AKA a heart
attack in your pelvis. Like, I think that image to me is really powerful, where I'm like, some people feel like they're having a fucking heart attack, but in their abdomen. Like, that's gotta be awful. So that's tough.
My heart goes out to anyone who feels that way.
Yeah, agreed. Also, fun fact, cramps lessen after giving birth.
All right.
So
because
that's interesting.
you're just all loosey-goosey.
I mean, yeah, and like, you've already gone through bad pain, so now you're like, whatever. Like, this is nothing. And cramps are worse if you're a smoker. So,
Whoa.
you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all 3 non-smokers, but no judgment.
Except the ganja man.
Just the most Meg Hayes thing I've ever heard.
I smoke very lightly. Just saying.
Hi, Mom and Dad. So I'm curious. So when, or if you guys have cramps, how long do they usually last?
Like I said, I get very minor cramps, and it's usually solved with some ibuprofen. And they're just like one day. So I'm very lucky. Again, I've been on birth control for almost half of my period. So I don't know.
And you take,
or more than half my period. So,
and like you take just the one ibuprofen.
I take 4 ibuprofens at a time, no matter what the ailment. That's just a standard 4.
A paper cut 4 ibuprofen.
It's true.
Broken arm, 4
You know
ibuprofen.
what? There's no harm in taking more ibuprofen. I don't think. Maybe. Do not. We are not doctors. Don't. Yeah. Please don't take 4 at a time all the time. But I do take 4 at a time all the time.
all the time.
Yeah, don't do it on a
What about yours, Meg?
So when I was in high school, it was more of an issue, and I think that's kind of what I read, is that in high school your periods are longer, or like early on.
Your hormonal rivers haven't made their mark yet.
Yeah. They're
harder.
more intense, they're longer, they're like 5 to 7 days, and then as you get older it kind of regulates. At least in my case that's happened. But also I'm on birth control, so that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say probably a day is as much as I would have had cramps. And I hadn't had cramps for a really long time, and then about a month ago I actually had to dig out my heating pad and use it. And my dear friend Whitney Jones sewed me a homemade heating pad that I still own.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Is
like
it something you like heat up or you plug in?
you heat up.
Oh.
It's filled with feeding corn. I don't. It doesn't pop in the microwave, but I basically can throw it in the microwave for 2 minutes and then put it on my womb.
Cramping areas.
Yeah, and it's incredible.
Meg, do you get? I mean, other than that like backstage story, have your cramps been bad in your life?
Yeah, I think especially like high school and college, cramps were pretty bad, and they would linger for like 2 days, and definitely like enough to be distracting like in class and stuff. But I wouldn't stay home, mainly because I don't think my mom would be like, "We got medicine, you can go to school." And then on birth control, I don't remember having a lot of bad cramps. And now that I'm off birth control, I've been having weirder cramps, and like they're pretty minor because they say that also with age, like it's either after birth, cramps get worse or get less worse, or just as you get older, the cramps like lessen. And I've been noticing that, but it is weird. Like the pain is more acute, which I believe means like specific to one area.
It is not cute.
It's not acute. Acute. And mainly like on my left, and it just feels like right where my ovary is. So I'm like picturing a cyst throbbing on my ovary every time I get a cramp. I'm sure I'm wrong. My gyno is just like rolling her eyes because she's obviously listening.
Can I ask about diarrhea?
I was gonna say one of the fun facts I learned is that another they didn't call it period poops. They called it loose stools.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and say period
poops. So but I think the loose stools, the period poops, are a side effect of cramps.
Interesting.
Because I think there's the contractions going on in your body, and so I think it kind of affects maybe like the status of your poo.
Yeah, it like tricks your body. It like tricks your colon into also pooping.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
But I think it also affects like the firmness, like because I mean I don't know how deeply we want to get into our poos.
Let's go.
But so they're saying that loose stools are like not solid, and so I'm curious how often we have like nice, solid, healthy poos on our periods, and how much.
I absolutely do.
Oh, I feel like I'm like perma diarrhea on my poos.
I mean, that happens to me too, but then sometimes I have like a very healthy, massive BM.
When I get cramps, it's like also, it is like it feels like it's diarrhea. It feels like the same kind of like feeling when you have to go number 3, as I like to call it. And so when I do have cramps, it feels like kind of my uterus has to poop. That's kind of how I describe it to people, like to men, to people that don't get their periods. I go like, I feel like imagine you have a uterus and imagine it has to poop. That's what cramps are.
Because that's the same. It's the feeling of pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
I think a lot of times cramps and that feeling of pressure are like one and the same. It's just like a feeling of not being able to relieve the stress that's happening in that part of your body. I think that's why the heat helps me a lot. And I would do ibuprofen, but the heat is all I need.
So I was interested to know how long yours are, and so it sounds like treatment for you is ibuprofen. And And what I've read also is that ibuprofen is most recommended, not Tylenol. And I looked into midol.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that.
So midol has caffeine in it.
What?
Yeah, and so sometimes that's, I think, why some people feel like it works well, but I think it's like it's one, like maybe just helps you be more alert while you're like in pain. And I think it uses acetaminophen, which is the same as Tylenol. But so I like read this one article on Hello Giggles that was like, ask a gyno, and it was about midol, and the gyno said midol isn't more or less effective, but most doctors recommend just over-the-counter NSAIDs, like non-steroid, blah, 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 which is like an ibuprofen or like Advil, Aleve. And that's what I've always used. I think I used to use midol, and it like didn't work.
What man invented midol to sell to
Great.
women?
I know, right? Exactly. It's like, it's pain meds for her.
I know. It comes in a pink bottle that's 20 cents more.
Right, yeah. But so some treatments for cramps are over-the-counter pain meds or birth control because it prevents ovulation. And that, I think, then leads to a true period, which gives you true cramps that contract your uterine lining out. And then there's all these home remedies, like you covered, heat. Also, like they say, exercise and avoiding alcohol. Sorry, that's not going to happen. Like
Boring.
if I'm bleeding, there's absolutely no harm in me drinking. But so they also say dietary supplements like vitamin E, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin B1, B6, and magnesium.
Wow, that's great.
They say those are things that can help cramps. I mean, I found some other home remedies or
I'd love to hear what people say.
I mean, so people swear by acupuncture and acupressure. And there's this thing called transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation.
Of course, yes, I've heard of this. I have not heard of
Yes,
this.
everyone does this once or twice for their cramps.
You mean Scorse? Yeah, no, I know about Scorse.
Squirts. So it's like, you know, the fitness devices where it's like the sticky thing that like makes your abs clench. It's like that for your abdomen, and they say it like rises your threshold for pain.
What?
Yeah, and I don't know.
So they're saying get rid of cramps by making you just
being
less
in pain
of a
all the
wuss.
time.
Yeah. So I have a crazy story about having really bad period poops. When I was like 12 or 13, this is like in 8th grade, maybe 14.
So you were a new bleeder.
I was a new bleeder. It was a couple years in.
a novice bleeder, if you will.
Yeah. And at my friend May's house, downstairs bathroom, went to go do my biz, my number 3. Cool. Everything's great. There was a little, it was a lot because it was a period poop.
Yeah.
It was a lot of different colors. And go to
Lots
flush.
of stuff in there.
Go to flush.
Oh no.
You can imagine what happened next.
No.
It not only clogged, it overflowed like
No.
it overflowed like immediately. Like immediately.
Oh no.
And it overflowed into her bathroom. And I kind of have blocked out what I did but I remember doing something. Like I scooped it and put it in the bathtub. I was like I was taking care of business.
My stomach is in knots right now.
Yeah, and then finally I thought I could keep it secret. I also was kind of like a new friend to her, so I didn't want to like it wasn't like coming over to your guys' house and being like, "Yo, what up?
Gonna
Your
break your
toilet's
bathroom."
clogged." So I was like, "Play it cool."
You're welcome.
Yeah. I was like, play it cool. And I think I finally just got her dad and he took care of it. But it was on the floor. It was everywhere.
Oh my God.
And you, because Meg T, you texted me and you said, hey, if anyone has any gross, like, or funny period cramping stories, I'd love to hear them. So I texted my friend May, and I hadn't texted her since November of last year. We don't talk very much, but I said, super random question. Do you have any memory of me clogging your downstairs toilet in 8th grade and it overflowing? And she immediately wrote back, that is super random, and no, I don't remember that, but it sounds so likely. So if anyone wonders, it is a likely story that I did that can tell you a little bit about me as Kate.
Cramps.
Nothing me to do but cramps.
Cramps.
All these bad times I'm going through just cramps.
Cramps. I'm gonna number 3 tonight, baby.
Loose stools.
A lot of things, Cramps rhymes with dance, so it's in any
So
song
true.
with dance.
That's so true.
Wait, what is our righteous cramps? Yeah.
Righteous
That's coming
Cramps
back. That's
with a
coming
K
back.
and 2 Z's. So should we go around and say why we cried this week?
I watched Coco on an airplane, so
Oh,
enough said.
brother.
Enough said.
There's like scientific evidence to you cry. You're more susceptible to crying on an airplane.
Yeah,
And you watched
it's true.
Coco.
And I watched Coco, and yeah, it was great. It was needed. A guy was man spreading next to me, so
God damn
I needed a cry.
Retreat, sir.
I think I've been suppressing tears this week because I am a teacher and it rained all week, which means indoor recess, which means it's fucking terrible for fucking everybody. So I just have a ball of fire in my chest. Maybe I'll watch Coco.
Oh. Cures all ills.
To cure. Just cry my eyes out.
I cried this week because I had to put my beloved kitty down.
Oh, we're so sorry.
Thanks, guys. And he was 13. He was beautiful.
His name was Gatsby.
Gatsby the Catsby. He fought a very brave battle with cancer, which we were not aware of until Wednesday. So it was a quick goodbye, but I've been crying a lot about that.
Well, we're sorry. We love
We love
Gatsby,
Gatsby so
and this
much.
podcast episode is dedicated to one Gatsby.
Gatsby Cotton Ball Trowbridge. Well, yeah, I guess that's this episode.
Thank you so much for your information on Cramps, Meg. I learned a bunch.
I do too.
And now I have cramps in my head. Nothing left for me to do but
Cramps!
Oh my God, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We learned so much, and we hope you did too.
And next week we're talking to Allison Page, a real-life endometriosis haver.
We're talking to someone with real-life bad cramps, y'all. It's going to be great.
Like truly righteous cramps.
So stick around for that. Download that episode, y'all.
Press play on that one.
And remember to call our hotline 9106 uterus 9106 uterus. Tell us how you bleed like us at 9106 uterus. Thanks, everybody.
Keep calm.
And tampon. Bye.
It may be primal, it may be vital, but it makes you homicidal. It's a vicious, it's a vicious, it's a vicious cycle.
Our theme song was performed by The Go Ahead. Check out more at thegoaheadmusic.com.
If you want more from us, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Vicious Cycle Podcast.